Cool. All right, Nate, what do you got? What's going well for you?
A lot of stuff. I mean, personally, just in terms of like seeing things going back to normal, really excited that on Friday, the NBA just started letting voluntary practices start again. So excited to see if they finish the season. Uh, Professionally, I mean, I think you're aware of what's happening. We just had a pretty exciting meeting with a company out in Boulder to potentially help manage 6,000 of their kiosks across the country. So to me, that's exciting because we haven't really dealt with anything that size before, but it presents like an interesting challenge or problem. Me and Zach were actually just talking about that last week when we were chatting, trying to figure out how are we going to solve some of the issues they have. So for me, those are two things that are going really well.
Yeah, cool. What's going well for me? Let's see. I'll just take the last 30 days. I'm like, have you guys ever heard of the concept of anti-fragile? Have I talked to you guys about that, Zach or Sean? So Anti-Fragile is this really cool book, and it's a whole philosophy, but basically the guy's argument or proposition is there are things that are fragile and there are things that are resilient in the middle, and then there are things that are anti-fragile. And what that looks like is some things that are fragile break from stress and disorder, which obviously we have right now. We're seeing what institutions are fragile. They're cracking all around us. Resilience in the middle is things that under stress and disorder, they get back to normal, right? And everyone talks about building resilience and all this kind of stuff. But the coolest idea, and this is what we've been living for us and our clients, and which is what's going well, is anti-fragile. And anti-fragile is things that benefit from stress or disorder or chaos. And so, it's superhero. I know you guys all love superheroes. The Hulk is anti-fragile because the more angry he gets, the stronger, right? He doesn't just come back to normal. The human body is anti-fragile. If you work out, it doesn't go back to normal. It actually gets stronger. So how do companies become anti-fragile is the question we've been facing. And we've helped a lot of our clients. We haven't lost any clients. We gained a couple more, and 5 of our clients actually increased their agreement with us because we've been able to map out using trends and data analysis. Since everyone's forced at home, this has given us even more ability to help our clients be successful, either survive it or thrive in it. And sometimes it's a 1-2 step. So what's going well is that even amongst all this chaos, disorder, and a lot of legitimate pain, we have helped people succeed and in such a way that it's going to change how we do our work in the future. So we're actually going to come out of this way better than we were. And a lot of our clients are in the middle of that same transformation. So very exciting stuff.
It sounds like you guys had to do something similar with your clients, right? Like for us, they're asking for a lot of digital consulting. What should they do now that everyone's behavior is shifting to being at home, being on, social media, things like that a lot more? How hard was it for you guys to start rapidly helping people with their infrastructure to get remote work done? Was it like already in place? Was it pretty hard? Was it easy?
Yeah, luckily we had a lot of the tools already in place. I mean, because we're working remotely ourselves most of the time, so we're not driving on site every time somebody has a computer problem. So it's just a matter of leveraging a lot of the tools and resources we had in place. So that way, when clients said, "Hey, we're sending everybody home tomorrow, can you set them up to work remotely?" Yeah, we got you covered.
Have another, right?
yeah, we got you covered. It's going to have to be, we put together some guides with screenshots, and it seemed like there were some people that just didn't want to work because they had an inordinate amount of trouble getting the system that we use every day to work, and kept blaming the system. It's like, okay, listen, it's like at this point, if it's not going to work, it's not the system's fault. Like
we see paper next to a phone, be like, my connection.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, sir, I see your internet's working fine. I see Netflix is up, Amazon Prime's up. I'm not really sure why Microsoft isn't working.
That your Xbox is on. How come the rest of your Microsoft isn't working?
I want to know what you guys think about some of the short-term shifts, but the versus long-term changes. One of the things it's interesting because as we start to re-enter, now staying ahead of staying on top of what consumers are doing is extremely important. 60% of Americans on the last poll last week said they think we're re-entering too soon. So just because the government says you're open for business doesn't mean people are going to flood back. Anyway, what do you guys think? An example for me was the amount of online grocery customers doubled. They predicted it's going to take 3 years. In a month, it doubled in numbers in the US. So that's a permanent shift, right? It may reduce a little bit, but then the regular upswing of it's going to continue. What do you guys think about shifting? Like, are people going to stay working from home more? Are they going to all flood back into the workplace? What do you guys see? Or, I know this is speculative, but you guys have frontline intel. So
to touch on that, we're actually having a lot of those conversations right now with our clients. They're trying to figure out whether or not they can just leave a lot of the staff that are at home. It's overall cheaper for their business. It seems that some of them have been more productive. So we just need to find means of making them successful at home, because there's certain things that the office has that the home does not yet have. So we're working with them to understand those needs, but a lot of them found it to be highly beneficial. And I think that they're going to leave a lot of those positions at home and possibly have more growth in their office for potential new employees. So it seems like some of them found it a benefit, while others that are more personal, it depends on the work environment, the business, that seems to have direct correlation on what the next step will be for them. But in some way or another, they found a means of survival and an evolution in their business. It was cool to see some of the tools take shape.
Yeah, to me, it seems like it hasn't changed. It's changed it in the sense that it's accelerated it. It didn't create a massive shift, other than people were forced to adopt technologies that have been there, but where people were kind of, it's too hard. They were forced to learn how to use Zoom. They were forced to learn how to do online shopping. Amazon obviously blew up. I think that that acceleration doesn't really return in technology. Once that adoption curve is over the hump, it sticks. So I think it's going to be really exciting. And I have heard an article that came out this week talking about how a lot of big companies are realizing how much more productive they were and the cost savings. One of our clients put a chat online. It was something they were just talking to me about it today, how they can't believe they had all this wasted time and calls and all this other stuff. They're like, this is so much easier, and we're going to keep this forever. That's a micro example, I think, of the bigger changes, the bigger shifts and accelerations that are happening. So,
Sean, what do you think? Your background is in the two most fascinating industries, IT and banking. Which one was more interesting to be part of right now? Because I'm sure you had to help the family bank a lot.
Yeah. So like I said, March was all our clients, hey, we're sending everybody home, figure out how to make it happen. And then it seemed like just as that tidal wave slowed down, it was, how do we get our PPP money? And, it was like drinking from a fire hose trying to get that done. But luckily, as a community bank, we were able to do a lot of the loans that either ones like Chase just weren't doing, or some of the others were getting passed over. But yeah, I think I was submitting loans at 2 a.m. because that was the one time of day that the SBA site wouldn't crash.
Wow.
Too much traffic. So it was, I don't know if one was more interesting than the other, but it was kind of you felt that it was hey, make sure from both sides, make sure you're answering the phone when people are calling, because this is kind of hopefully a once in a lifetime situation.
Yeah.
And people will remember.
People
will remember who answered the phone.
Yeah, man, I'm still mad at Chase. We went through a local bank instead of Chase, which is our primary bank, and the day we got approved for the PPP, Chase called me back.
Yeah, of course.
Are you freaking kidding me? So, hey, I was just on a group of entrepreneurs mastermind call earlier today. Do you see any gotchas in the PPP that maybe you don't think are in everyone's awareness? Anything to watch out for? Grant versus a loan.
So it was such a cluster at the beginning. I have a feeling in a few months it's going to be another cluster as people try to figure out how to make sure that it's forgiven. For us, I've got a spreadsheet of all like the expenses that, according to my last conversation with the accountant, are the ones that are qualified. Just in case, like we're a small potato, you know, we're not the LA Lakers who got 4.6 million. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, the Lakers got a $4.6 million PPP loan.
They're a small business. They only have 16 championships. They're one of the oldest franchises.
They have since returned it, but like, what
they better
is making that loan?
Wow, that is infuriating. Like you could fund Northern Colorado with that money.
Isn't that ridiculous?
That is
so I'm just trying to make sure to keep track of all the expenses.
Yeah.
In case we do get audited, I don't know what that process looks like, but what we told people from the banking side of things, keep that money in your checking account until you get a letter from the government saying it's forgiven. You know, do all your expenses, and then after, if you get a windfall and maybe there was a piece of equipment, because we did a lot of ag loans, you know, if there's a piece of equipment you want to buy that money has helped finance type of thing, that money that you wouldn't have had otherwise, wait till it's forgiven type of thing. Don't go spend it thinking it's going to be a grant, and then you're like,
that's good advice. Yeah, we set up a separate bank account with just that money in it, because I can't even keep my receipts for like eating out.
Lord knows, be
I
lost.
don't trust myself with that, and we have someone who handles the ops at an exceptional level. So, but that to me seemed like the cleanest way, just to like separation of concerns. And then we're using the other account and just building up a war chest because it depends on like if we go into a big recession or whatever, trying to extend the opportunity that the PPP gave us. So definitely a huge asset though.
Yeah. Luckily we didn't have to, you know, worry about, because we had the workload to support it. You know, we weren't like a business that had to close because we don't have a storefront or anything. Exactly. Yeah, we weren't a restaurant.
Yeah, but very, very fortunate.
Yeah. So we were able to keep everybody on staff, keep them paid, and it was no big deal for us. So
were those 2 a.m.s rough for you? Were you on double duty doing loans and with the newborn?
He was up already.
That's the thing. Yeah, I was up already, so I figured, well, might as well make a couple $100,000 loans while I'm in here.
That's funny. So what's the most challenging thing during the pandemic? Mine has nothing to do, well, a little bit to do with it. So like, what do you guys find most tough? I'll lead with mine. The number one most frustrating, brain splitting, terrible pain and agony for me was the online learning for my kiddos. I mean, like logging in and out. Both kids go to the same school, but the way both teachers did it was vastly different. And the instructions were sparse, if existent. So some emailed. So anyway, trying to like, we were working around the clock for probably the first 3 weeks. So trying to deal with like customers in dire straits, and then trying to figure out online learning the online learning part was tough. What about you guys?
Let me think.
Sean, was the kiddo harder than all those other stuff combined? I mean, we talked about that a little bit.
He was good, but this is one of the things I wanted to bring up. One of the hard things we've been working on is getting our voicemail changed. So you talked about superheroes, and so for the company, we've been working on getting Chris Hemsworth to record the greeting for Mjolnir. But in lieu of that, I've been working on my Thor voice.
Can we hear it?
You gonna try?
You have called Mjolnir Technology. This is an urgent request. Please email support@mjolnir.com.
Mjolnir is the official name for the hammer of Thor, just so we're clear, right?
And it's also the name of our IT company, inspired by Derek.
That's right. I was about to take that credit if it wasn't given.
Don't worry, I'll give
it. Do.
But since my accent's so bad, we're going to take it to the Chris Pratt way. And Zach is going to be Drax, who's just saying, look, he's doing it. It's the God voice. He's trying to do the God-man voice.
That's great. I thought you guys should have gone Chris Pratt, Chris Hemsworth at the end of Avengers, where they're arguing who's the leader.
We do that every day. That's part of it too. Don't worry.
I mean, we know who's in charge.
Yeah, we sure do.
We know who's in charge.
Someone's in charge.
We know who's in charge.
Gina's in charge, I think, Sean, right?
Start flexing. One of the things I'll throw out there that was difficult It's kind of a joke to a lot of people, but I didn't have any toilet paper when all this started. And
there
Oh,
it
so it
is.
was real for you.
Real shit.
dude, I had to talk to my neighbors. They were like, I don't know, man, how much money you got? I was like, really?
Shit.
Really? I just closed your garage door for you last week and you can't even give me 2 rolls. So that
Savage,
was,
man.
Drug
hard,
deal in the
man.
TP.
it was,
Yeah.
they were slinging it on my street. But other than that,
That's funny. Yeah. When that first happened, I got people, they would drop their voice to a whisper, other business owners who were all sort of panicking, and they're like, I got a line on some toilet paper if you need it. I was like, the fuck, man?
Yeah,
I hadn't really caught up with, the me first, fuck everybody else attitude that like the stampedes. Because I didn't know that toilet paper actually resisted coronavirus and was a protectant. So I would have ran to the store.
Well, it's similar to the South Park AIDS thing. You just have to grind it up and inject it straight into the bloodstream.
Straight
it's
in
like
there.
$100 bills. Well, if you grind those up and inject them straight in, it cures AIDS.
It's really funny, and like I don't know about how you guys have handled this, but if everybody shifted to like that, the same thing that caused the shortage of toilet paper, like those that are trying to do it right get fucked over by those that are panicking. And so I heard a lot of conversations. Should we start slow paying vendors? I'm in 2 different entrepreneur groups. Should we slow pay, default, all these other things? I'm like, if we do that to protect ourselves, that domino effect is going to blow everything up.
Yep.
So we tried, and we didn't slow pay anyone. And we didn't, cancel abruptly our lease or anything like that, because that the toilet paper reflects it the best. If everyone just would have taken a measured approach and looked a little bit up from their own concern, it would have been fine.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I was nervous with the toilet paper. I was in a similar situation to Zach. I was like, are these Clorox wipes good to go? I know there's a little bleach in there, but is that an option?
Yeah. A lot of towels.
Viviana even bought some of that Donald Trump toilet paper on Amazon, which was hilarious. So literally wiping your ass with his face.
This is our new head of ops right here.
Oh, is that the new sales manager?
Yeah.
I think I saw the real boss pop her head in right there.
Yeah,
Like arguing.
you didn't have to be so shy.
Yeah. That's cute. Cute baby. You sure it's yours? I'm just kidding.
We'll see.
That's awesome. I think for me, nothing was that terrible. Can I tell you what honestly was the roughest? It was Jello shot. It was Josh. Complaining about how he was gonna eat. I'm sure there's other people like that, but like for those that rely on outdoor eating or eating not from their own cooking, and then the first 2 weeks was like, oh, all restaurants are shut down. I thought Josh might have died. I thought he was gonna just like he was just gonna evaporate. He's already such a skinny guy. And he was like, Nate, can you help me cook? I was like, yeah, because in-person training didn't help. So I can definitely train you over Zoom. Right.
Yeah. Perspective is Josh doesn't even know how to cook a bratwurst. Right. He failed at that.
I mean, this is a man trying to use a meat thermometer to cook breakfast sausage. So that for me, I was legitimately concerned for our team. I was concerned for Josh, who's the opposite of your guys, is Corbin, who probably thought this was like the best holiday ever. Now that the classic indoorsman never had
classic
to go
indoorsman. He's
no
thriving.
Guilty or taking shit from anybody. Like I finally get a chance to stay indoors without people bitching at me.
Well, that's the thing, right? I saw the meme 2019, drinking alone in your house. You're looked down upon. People think you're a loser. 2020, drinking alone by yourself in your house, citizen, a hero.
Isolated.
Yeah, right?
So that's probably why Corbin loves it. He's living his best life. Nothing changed for him. It's still status quo, but now he's the hero in that meme.
I think I owe Josh an apology at some point in time, though, too. And Katie, if you're watching, sorry. Just gonna get that out there.
Inciting panic and riots.
It was my fault. But
oh God, the Corona joke. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear Josh is okay.
That's good.
He is doing well.
Zach, how have you shifted your workouts?
Yeah, what are you climbing on now? Are you climbing on anything?
Like 3 or 4 hours a day or something? Like, how have you adapted to this new?
Well, I tore my house apart. It was supposed to be just the floors, and now my kitchen's gone. I knocked down 2 walls. I redid all the trim. I don't know. I'm pretty tired, and it's
yeah. Well, so Zach, like right? You channel the crazy, you can reduce the crazy so it doesn't spill over somewhere. And so you got to find some way to do that, or you'll set your house on fire just for something to do.
Oh yeah.
So basically you took all that energy and sort of adjusting that occurs through workouts, and you put it into your poor house.
Exactly.
Dude, I thought Zach was never gonna remodel his house. I thought after he started taking down the cabinets, like we were just gonna start seeing
This
like
is the
an
new
indoor,
house.
a new indoor like gym where he was just gonna climb everywhere. No
It could be a
cabinets.
thing. It could be a thing. The cabinets aren't here yet. I might just make it happen.
Oh, you want the Mayo? That's on the second floor. You're gonna have to climb.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's a good idea.
But
That's
I mean,
the
also
pegboard you got to climb up.
during those times, trying to create some new policies for a lot of the people that are at home, because some people, weren't able to bring home like a work computer. So that's been very interesting, keeping their data secure while working from a computer that we have no idea about. I mean, someone was trying to boot up a Windows XP machine. We're like, I've got a computer you can have, so we just had that conversation. And they're trying to help people in that regard, because we're still getting these requests every day. Someone's still dropping something new about something crazy that's going on in their house. And we're like, wow, you have real business information just willy-nilly in your house. Like one guy was on his business laptop and was asking me why he had these games on there. It turns out his son was using his PC at night.
No.
He didn't know about it. And I mean, this guy he's a major controller, so there's a lot of sensitive data on there, and he's just letting his son kind of drive that computer. So we're having to have a lot of home conversations and explaining to people why that is and is not okay. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
that's been exhausting. The calls have been wild.
Yeah.
Not understanding some of the fundamental differences of, why that's important to be on lockdown, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys have any issues with people trying to shift to Zoom, or do you guys have mostly people on like Microsoft Teams?
A little bit of everything. We've
Yeah.
even seen Cisco WebEx. We're not really opposed to it, but keeping, as people discovered, as the huge influx of Zoom usage went up, there was obviously a major set of vulnerabilities found with Zoom. So that was scary. And we were there for a lot of people who had questions and alternatives during the time. I mean, a lot of services were made free for quite some time. So there was opportunity, but yeah, just making sure they were aware if they were using Zoom. But yeah, Teams was there. Teams was a huge advantage. We saw a lot of people really start adopting that while they'd already been paying for it for the longest time. A lot of people were like, really, this is a free service with my Microsoft subscription? It's like, well, it's not free, but it is a tool part of that suite. So feel free to use it. We've been trying to show you for a while now, and a lot of people just didn't have the need because they have their conference rooms, and a lot of that stuff was really still very in-house, like we discussed at the beginning of the call.
Cool. That's exciting times. Hey guys, I got to feed my kiddos now. Red Robin is here. And by the way, I was one of the people Nate referred to, as I had no capabilities to cook. Somehow I survived till now though. And now Grubhub is like, literally every time I open my phone, it's a suggested app. It's like, here you go. We know you're going to order. So yeah. I got to drop, but it was awesome catching up with you guys. Keep killing it. And
Likewise.
Enjoy this. All right.
Yeah, thank you, Derek.
I'm curious, Sean and Zach, now that Derek's gone, we'll just end on one thing. What has been your favorite Corona pickup? Is there anything that you've been eating a lot of, supporting any local restaurant? I think I know Zach's, but I'll let him say it himself.
Crazy Carl's?
Yeah, dude, Crazy
There it
Carl's.
is. There it is.
I've had probably 2 of their pizzas a week. I mean, I don't have a kitchen for one, so it's been hard to like eat any sort of healthy produce, or I mean, I guess I go get some apples from the store. I've done that just to try and break up the pizza diet, but
It sounds good.
Pizza.
yeah, it's been a wild ride.
What was the go-to? Were you getting like their special? I saw they had that Music City hot chicken pizza
4 times.
4 times, a modest 4 for a
Yeah,
house of 1.
I got that one twice.
Boom. There you go.
That's awesome. I got it once as well too. I think Music City hot chicken's like 6 days away from opening again.
I thought it was Friday.
Is it Friday? I saw a countdown. I'm super stoked.
There's a countdown. There would be a countdown.
Sean, what about you? It sounds like you dabbled with the Carl's.
Carl's, yeah. Some Wing Shack. Had to get some wing fix on.
There you go.
Because they're like, I mean, we've been cooking quite a bit, but I can't make those.
No.
I can't make that garlic hot sauce. I'm bummed Derek got off already. I was going to show him the new Zoom feature.
Which one?
I think you have it on yours, Nate. I don't think Zach has the new Zoom feature. Watch this. Oh, brother, man, look, you can turn it to different accents.
Oh, man. Hey, man. I just pressed the button and it's working.
We're going to have Derek log on later and check this out, man.
Hey, man, why is the only accent Jamaican?
Oh, I don't. They're working on it. They're rolling it out in the next release.
You know, they tell them next time we need a Chris Hemsworth accent, so then they use it for the voicemail.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that button works pretty well.
That's
It
good.
does. I don't have the feature yet. I'll get the update after this, maybe.
Yeah, you should probably reset your PC, see if you get that push notification.
Oh,
The thing I ate the most, obviously, the Rio. I had a lot of their margaritas. I mean, that's just when you can supersede the limit of 3, because you can take home as many as you want, is great.
I think you should be able to get
They do gallons?
Paunch. You should get the Paunch Burger child size. Was that 512 ounces?
the
I
big
think
cup.
I think it's an even 600, but we're just
Yeah,
talking.
because it's the equivalent of a liquefied child.
Yeah, the weight in ounces of a 5-year-old.
That's what it is. Yeah.
But I don't know. I know we've gone to gyms a lot in the past. Did you guys know that they're allowing any of their specials for pickup or delivery? So you can go get like their 25 wings, fries, and
With
a
a
pitcher
pitcher?
of beer to go. They'll just give you a 6-pack or whatever.
I know Cafe Athens had a deal. I didn't take advantage of it because it was at crazy time, but they were doing a deal for a while. If you bought an entree, you could get a beer for a penny because they were trying to drain the kegs.
Ah, that's smart.
Hmm.
Those are the smart moves. Like who was it? I think Corbin was talking about how he went somewhere and they said they wouldn't sell him a beer, even though they have like all the individual packs that they've been trying to get rid of. So I think Cathay Athens, that's a smart move. Give
Mhm.
them a penny. I would order 5 entrees. Give them 5 pennies.
Well, I wonder, do you just have to order one entree? Like you order one entree and get 50 beers. That's 2 quarters.
But yeah, leave it to you to try and figure out where is the sliver of taking advantage of their deal.
Hey, I read the fine print. I'm one of 3 people in the world that reads a lot of the fine print.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong about that. Well, I think it's almost 1 o'clock, so I know you guys gotta run. But thanks for hopping on with us.
I have a question for you, gentlemen. Does anybody know if they're going to be reopening gyms soon? I haven't been able to find like gyms.
Like a gymnasium.
Like
Not
gym,
gyms, wings.
not the opposite.
wi-
Something that
yeah.
helps your body, not hurts it.
Exactly.
We'll get your butt on the basketball court, Zach. How about that?
I was practicing before all this blew over.
Dude, Zach's got stone hands.
Dude, I got stone hands, but I got feet that kick you in the head, Nate. It's
Yeah,
all
because
good.
they're concrete bricks.
I don't know. Just curious. I haven't heard anything. What about you guys?
I've heard in our BNI chapter, so like they pushed it back as not one of the essential businesses that reopened at the end of April, beginning of May.
Okay.
They did allow personal trainers to start training again, so you could meet one-on-one. The gym, the Iron Prodigy, the gym that's in our BNI chapter specifically,
Yeah.
has like had a soft reopening where you can go in for like 4 groups of 4 personal training, but then you're all spread out across the gym. I don't
Gotcha.
know what a bigger gym like
Was
Miramont.
it a super soft reopening?
It was just no, there wasn't pink streamers, but
Well,
I heard that's the next accent they're adding on here is a Letterkenny one, but we'll have to see if that works out next time.
yeah, that one will be good.
But to answer your question, Zach, he told us May 17th, so
Okay.
that's the tentative date I think for most gyms.
Copy that. I had a feeling you might have heard something through Chris, so I wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah,
Sweet.
I mean everyone's excited. I'm sure you're excited. I don't know how they're gonna do the rock climbing stuff because I feel like that'd be something that needs cleaned a lot.
I'm gonna risk it. It's fine. Chalk kills things.
Does it?
No, I have no idea. I heard they opened up some in Grand Mesa, but you have to like wear a mask in there. And I just picture a bunch of people on a treadmill, like with a mask on, like hyperventilating and passing out. It sounds like
Dude,
a-
that's how you do some super hard cardio training. I want to get the Bane mask and go to the gym.
that's they make
That's
high altitude mask.
Oh, you
Yeah,
thought you
you
were
should-
born in the gym. All right, we should
adopted the wall.
yeah.
No.
that's-
let's end it before me and Sean do any more terrible impressions.
I agree. 100%. All right, boys, it was fun.
Yeah.
Stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you guys.
Later days.
See ya.